is my co-host, James.
Hi, James.
Nice. I'm Jeremiah, as we already said, and you're Christopher Tabor. Do you want us to call you just Christopher in this interview?
You can call me anything you want. I'm not, you can call me Hey You. You know, I won't do the bad jokes. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Some people might want us to refer to you as HK47.
You can do that too. Though I think I've moved up, aren't I now HK52 or something like that? I think I'm a new number.
True, you have moved up.
Yeah, but 47 was the man.
Well, that was the good year, huh?
Yeah, that's an exceptional year for droids.
Okay, so this is a bit of introduction. We're the hosts of Bombad Radio. It's a podcast for, well, Star Wars and a bit more.
Yes.
We talk about everything under the sun.
Games, comic books, cartoon stuff. You know, your average nerd fare.
I love it. I'm such a dunce when it comes to all this stuff, and I'm so intrigued by it and wish I knew more about it and think it's like where the real creative work is going on and feel like I'm completely on the fringe. So you have no idea, and you guys could revolutionize my life.
Oh,
bring me to the crew, take me to the center, lead me to the light, boys.
And we said we will take the ignorance out of this man and lead him to the light of the
there
nerd
you go.
community.
James, I shall follow you everywhere.
Indeed. I like
James, I think you spent too much time in Tennessee.
No, just a little bit, man. Oh, dude, down there, they love that whole, like, Satan, I command you to leave this child. They go crazy for that stuff, man. They eat that up.
And then they have bourbon. What more could you ask for?
A good steak.
Wow.
If you're going to have bourbon.
Okay, so you mentioned how you want us to lead you into, the world of nerds and geeks, but most of us are quite familiar with you from that world, though, because you've been involved in things like Twilight Zone, which is
awesome.
A bit on that end. You've been involved in video games such as Spider-Man. I know you were involved in one of the Dungeons and Dragons ones, and of course Knights of the Old Republic, Gladius, EverQuest.
Dude. How did Spider-Man turn out?
Well, Web of Shadows was okay.
Web of Shadows was cool.
I enjoyed playing that character. They let me go. They let me run amok.
So what did they tell you? Did they just say, here's your words, do what you want with it, or did they give you any sort of instruction?
No, within a line or a paragraph of dialogue, it's usually broken into pieces. They'll give me they'll help to set the parameters. Because I don't quite know the tone of the game, so I need them to help me as to how either sort of exaggerated or big, or now you get games where they're really wanting sort of they want to have a kind of great naturalism. I did a war game not too long ago where it's fantastic. I mean, they really didn't want you to do the sort of Baroque acting that often you get in these video games. So you'll get that kind of guidance, and then within a take they may say, I think you've gone a little too far here, or make this more contained, or there may be a technical note like you just blew out the mic, or something like that.
Okay, so
stop damaging equipment with your.
That's right. Yeah. That's a big issue. Yeah.
I'm assuming with Spider-Man you're a bit more free than from what we've heard with BioWare people, like with Knights of the Republic and some of in their newer games, they tend to want people to follow the script and follow their instructions because it has to match mouths and match what they want, what they want people to say.
Well, yeah, you don't tend to go off text very often. I've occasionally been places where I've been able to go off text. But I tell you, in terms of the Star Wars games and the guys I deal with who are all because I'm directed solely by people from George Lucas's company. I've never been anywhere near the BioWare people. I know that because I actually heard about them the last time I was doing a big recording session, but they never have anything to do with me. I'm being completely directed by one of two guys from Lucas's company, and they're great, and they've been incredibly generous to me, and literally this character, when I first went in, there was a sort of temperance, and they were a little nervous. But what happened was, and you guys probably know more about this than I do, is that people started responding to this character, and so they started feeling more and more comfortable sort of letting me go. And now, even though it's always within their text, sometimes I'll recommend a change if I think, the meter is off, or I think the joke could be better. I can see them writing more and more to the kind of odd, character that I've sort of been, I sort of went after as they freed me up more and more. And now the writers are writing. I mean, I just finished today. I did like 8 or 9 pages. Hysterical stuff. I mean, really funny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you're from a big film and stage family.
Yeah.
With a big reputation. You've done lots of stuff on television. You've done theater. You've done directing and so on.
Yeah.
So what was it like the very first time that people offered you to work on a video game? Because as you said, that's not your world. It's not what you're used to. What were your expectations when I think it was New Legends, or is it Xbox game, the first one I know you did? What was your expectations or thoughts when they first invited you in?
Well, first off, I'd done a lot of radio. I'd done a lot of commercials, and I'd done a lot of radio work, and I'd done a lot of radio plays, which are not dissimilar, and a lot of cartoons, which are not dissimilar in terms of how the booth is set up. Sort of what the dynamics are, that you're going line to line. It's not like if you're doing a radio play, you might be interactively playing with somebody, but in a cartoon, you're essentially going just line to line. The lines are numbered, and often they'll be out of sequence, and you're not seeing anything, so you don't really know where you are, and you're dependent on the director giving you some context as to sort of how this is maneuvered in, and you're not hearing the other voices, so it's not like you're able to get a sense of the tone of the scene. So it's very similar to that. So it was, for me, it was great for me, and the nice thing was that I came out of a classical background in the theater, so the sort of grand tradition of acting is very apparent in most video games. They're all basic heroes' journeys, and so you have characters cutting big swaths and having large speeches and being declarative and kind of moving in broad strokes. So for me, it was just a gas. I'd been waiting for something to unchain me from realism, so I was delighted.
Say, quick, we have the role. Unchain the man, let him loose.
That's right. Got it.
That's awesome.
You let me overact. I mean, I'll chew scenery, to the point where you're going to have to give me dental floss for 3 weeks.
That was kind of apparent in the Knights of the Old Republic games.
I guess it's all that Shakespeare you did before.
That's right. It's right. It frees you to go, come on, man. You can throw anything at me. I love being grand and bold and playing great big villains who are, running around, plotting the destruction of the earth as we know it. And that's so much fun.
And as HK-47, you got to be a villain yet hero at the same time.
Well, that one is such a gas because it's a character part. I mean, you're essentially playing sort of, a maniacal butler.
It's great.
It's just
maniacal butler. I never thought.
That's what he is. He's sort of, that's what he is. He's essentially sort of like in service, and he's this extremely polite, rather sort of. He has all the aspects of gentility, except that he's a bloodthirsty killer. I think it's a very clever construct they've come up with. It's original. There's no version of that in Star Wars. The films.
No, not at all. Yeah. So did you, when you were growing up, did you watch the Star Wars films when you were younger?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I actually auditioned.
What was your initial thought?
I auditioned for the Hamill part in the original.
Oh.
I auditioned for George Lucas at Universal. When did it come out? 1970 something, rather?
1977.
Right. So it must have been like 1975. I remember auditioning for him.
Oh wow! So what was it like during that audition? Because I've never met someone who was part of those auditions. What was it like to audition for Star Wars? Like most people I know early on thought it was the movie looked really silly and they had lots of fun with the script. But what was it like to be on stage auditioning to be in what would be one of the biggest franchises of all time?
Yeah, I know. Well, if only I had known that then, I would have tried harder. I didn't. I don't remember the script. I'm not sure I ever read the script. I do remember meeting him. I certainly wanted the part. I can remember thinking, it was a good part. I remember not being very impressed with him, to be honest with you. Thinking he was sort of not really. What's the word I'm looking for?
Unassuming.
I just didn't think he was very in tune with an actor. I think that's pretty. I don't think I'm the first person to have said that about him, that that's not his strong suit, is working with actors. And
his strong suit is story and scope, not acting.
Yeah, I think it's really apparent in the later films, where people, I think, were very badly served by his direction. That last kid who was sort of, was it Luke Skywalker young or old or before or father? I can't remember which one it was.
His father, yes.
That he was not well served. And he could have been very good in that film. And I thought he got a really bad break. And, the reviews savaged him. And I thought unfairly, because I didn't think he was untalented. I just thought he was extremely badly directed. And then I'm probably going to lose my job now, aren't I? And then I thought Natalie Portman, who has proved herself to be a remarkable actress. That was not one of her strong performances.
Yeah,
but the fanboys do love her.
But they don't love her for her acting, guys. Come on, be honest.
They're like, oh, dude, look, man, she's got boobs.
Yeah, I think she's great. That movie.
Oh yeah, no, great actress.
Ballerina, she's unbelievable in Brothers. She's brilliant. I'm a complete fan of her. I'm just saying, I don't think that was not her strongest.
Yeah.
But even if looking at the prequels, though, you could see where some of the better actors could make the best out of the roles. Like, for example, Liam Neeson and Ian McDiarmid, that guy who played the Emperor.
Uh-huh.
They could tell where they could take these lines and make the best of them and be able to still
they're
pull off a performance.
They have more skill, and they're less dependent on a director sort of helping to model a performance. So they know how to navigate that territory. I'd be the same way now, But I think even if you look back on Mark Hamill's performance and Carrey's performance, the concept of Star Wars and the fact that he navigated that movie to where it got to was,
it's almost like it almost kind of makes up for it in a way. Like, well, okay, maybe not the greatest here, but hello.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is true of a whole number of filmmakers. I know this is we're not here to talk about movies, so I'll shut up in a second. But I think that you find it in a lot of these guys. I could name you a number of them whose real great skill set is as creative producers. They're not great. They're not really directors. They're able to. They get the title director and they get the right to direct it because they've created it and because their skill set is in producing and creating the world and the environment that then the event can take place in. But what they don't really do well is really moment to moment make the film compelling. It's compelling because it's such a magnificently conceived piece. But I think moment to moment, this is just me personally, when I watch Star Wars, I go, that's not quite working. The big picture, and I've studied that script backwards and forwards. It's sort of, let's face it, it's become sort of one of the seminal works that you look at when you're studying screenwriting. It's brilliant. There's no question.
Okay, so just talking a little bit more about films for a second, because you talk about directing, and we know that you're an award-nominated and winning director for, I believe you got an Emmy and a Directors Guild Award, or you got nominated for Directors Guild Award and won a Daytime Emmy for directing. So what are some of the things you've directed, and how has, I believe you started as an actor and then voice and so on, how has that affected your directing and then vice versa?
Well, I mean, look, I think I've been well supported as a director, having come out of End, that I'm still, to some degree, a functioning actor. It makes me, it does two things that I think give me an advantage, which is, number one, I'm not at all frightened of actors. I mean, I am an actor. So
you just kind of dig in there. You're like, all right, let's get this going.
I'm all over that. I'm like white on rice. I mean, I have no compunction about talking directly to an actor about, you need to do this moment, this here, again, blah, 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 blah. Because it's not scary. It's not. So many directors feel, I'm either I'm trampling on their creative process, or on the other hand, oh God, if I say something, they're going to trample on me. I'm not. None of that worries me. I speak that language, and it's a very natural place for me to be, and I'm very comfortable there. So I can jump right into a pride of actors, and I don't get chewed up. The second part of it is that I think that I can use my dialogue with actors, my ease of communication, to effectively move actors and block scenes, maybe with a little more effectiveness than some directors do, who have to sort of make it up based on where the actors choose to go. So for me, it's been an extremely valuable asset.
Okay. So back to Star Wars for a second.
You tried the interesting shit.
Yeah. Dude, Jerry. Jerry, he wrecked you, dude. He wrecked you.
You're trying to set me up. Everybody's going to be dozing off. They're going to, what a fucking...
Oh, Jerry, what are you doing, bro?
I don't like it, though.
Here I am trying to...
I have to ask, though, because I love movies, and when I saw that you'd won Emmys and so on, I was like, oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Dude. But, back to Star Wars for a second. You tried out for the original, for A New Hope. So what was it like the first time you saw the film and got to see what you were actually trying out for on the big screen and how it turned out?
I'm sorry, what did I try out for?
A New Hope?
What's
the first Star Wars movie?
Oh, is that what this first Star Wars movie is?
Yes, the first Star Wars is called
Star Wars.
Well, they changed it in 1980 when they changed it to Episode 4, A New Hope, and everyone got confused.
Yeah, everybody went like, what the hell?
When I saw it, I once more returned to that mirror that an actor looks in and goes, "You are an idiot. Why would you in that movie?"
Like, dude, what were you doing?
Oh my God!
Damn it!
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. It's like I could have driven a stake through my heart.
Oh, that's harsh.
Yeah, like, I was so impressed. I remember, when that wonderful music starts, and you're going through the galaxy, and that scroll starts. I just went, oh my God!
Yeah, the scroll is cool.
I remember thinking it was absolutely wonderful. Even though, as I said, I felt that for me, some of the performances and some of the dynamics within a scene I thought were a little kind of sluggy and rudimentary, and I yearned to have played that Mark Hamill part. I think I could have been very good in it. I think that would have been a good part, but wasn't to be. Indeed.
But I guess to go with it though, you have been able to do lots of other Star Wars roles. Like I believe you've done Old Republic, you did Empire at War, you did Force Unleashed. Mm-hmm. You did Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, so you've definitely gotten yourself into the Star Wars universe regardless.
You're absolutely right. I wouldn't say quite in the same firmament, but nevertheless, it's very gracious of you.
And the Star Wars fans definitely remember you probably the most on Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic because
HK.
You're one of the most memorable characters from that game.
I've heard this from people. I now get people sort of people don't approach me because nobody knows what I look like. But people who know me, who I have a composer friend of mine who is a big fan of the game, and he just went conniption when he heard that I had done it. So I realized that it's had a degree of an impact, and I'm delighted because I love doing it.
Oh yeah, we love that. Most of us love that. I play those games all the time.
Right. Well, you'll have to come down here and show me how to play it. I'd like to play myself one day.
Okay, that totally sounded wrong on at least 3 levels, but we'll let it slide.
Listen, gentlemen, we're all the same late at night under the covers. You know what I mean?
That's so true.
That's true.
All right.
Okay, so talk about some of your other work.
They're going to bounce you guys off the radio, or this will make your careers. We're now not only dealing with the issues of Star Wars, but we're deep into a reviled aspect of pornography that few people have covered.
Yes. A whole new genre in which to explore.
So you need to get me together with Bill Shatner, and
dear God.
It'll be a whole new gestalt we'll create.
Oh my God!
I worked with him years ago, and who knew he was this funny?
Oh, dude, Shatner's hilarious. Have you heard? Have you heard his new album?
No, I haven't.
Oh dear God!
I love him now.
It's great. He does a cover of Black Sabbath's Iron Man. At that point, I was like, oh my dear God, I love Shatner.
He has I had no idea that he was so funny. I did a television show with him like 30 years ago. And, he was charming. Off camera, he had a kind of wonderful kind of twinkle in his eye and all that. And I remember thinking, God, I wish you were that funny when you acted. And now to see him, I just go, God, this is a guy who's completely self-realized himself. He's become a very, very good actor.
He's embraced
Yeah, like it's almost like he's embraced the horribleness and just turned it up to 11 to make it funnier than anything.
He's like a reality star with talent.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bill Shatner. Oh man.
So I have some friends that would be disappointed if I didn't ask you about this.
Goodness.
One of them, when I mentioned that we would be having you on the show, he started talking about Hound of Baskerville.
Oh, sure.
And you've been able to work on a lot of, we'll say, not only with Sage but classic properties like Hound of Baskervilles. You've also been able to work on shows that our parents would talk about all the time, like Murder, She Wrote and Matlock and so on. For you,
Matlock.
So, what was it like to work with television? What's some of the differences between working with film and television, and which do you prefer?
You're making a distinction between film and television? Let me just understand. Okay. Really, television is just film. And this is probably not even true anymore, but television is just film done faster. It's all the same, and maybe with a little less care, or at least care from the creative side. It's a more corporate event doing television. But the work is exactly the same. You stand on your mark, and there's a camera, and the director says, walk here, do this, and you try to, be as real as possible. So it's no different.
Okay. Are there any aspects of like the filmmaking process which suffer a little bit when it comes to television, where they have to pump out an episode?
Sure. When you think that you're doing 23 episodes, 26 episodes a year, you're shooting them basically in 1 week. So that's 40, figuring an hour show is really 48, 46 minutes. That's about half of the length of a movie, almost half of the length of a movie. And to do that in 7 days, whereas, how long did George Lucas have to make Star Wars? It takes enormous sort of skill and resources and the ability to be frugal. So in that way, it's a different process. You're not quite as expansive as you are in film, or can be on an expensive film. But the work is exactly the same, with the exception that, you
don't have any time to fix problems.
Yeah,
there's an error.
you're not shooting a half a page a day. You're shooting 6 pages, 7 pages a day. So
Okay.
that's it.
So what are some of the things which you're working on now? Like, what are some of your current projects?
Okay, well, I just wrapped on Friday a film called Tom, Dick, and Harriet, which will be for the Hallmark Channel. I literally just finished it. I'm going into editing in about a week. And before that, it's aired already in the States, but it's still playing. There's a movie called Good Night for Justice Part 2, which is a series of films that Luke Perry is starring in. What else? I don't know. That's about it. And then I'm writing and looking for the next gig.
Okay.
The usual.
So do you have any, well, I guess one last question
Sure,
that we have before we let you escape and so on. Do you have any dream projects you'd like to work on in the future? Because you've done lots of stuff, through your career. There's really nothing more you need to prove to people.
Well,
but is there any if you could have a dream project, do anything you want in the future, what would your dream project be?
Well, I wrote a script based on a novel called Lost Children, which is a thriller, and I've been trying to get that made for a number of years. It's a female-dominated thriller. I mean, it'd be a great part for Natalie Portman, an actress of that ilk. Hilary Swank could do it. And I'm actively working to get that movie made because that's a real pet project. That's something I'm in love with, and I think would be a terrific film.
Okay, so that would be your Star Wars.
Well,
or American Graffiti.
That would be. I mean, and I have others too. I've dream projects that you keep pushing along and looking for a window.
Yes, and then when you find that window, relentlessly stuffing it through until they don't throw it back.
That's right.
You just shove it down their throat
it at
and
the wall.
It up.
You just keep tossing it at the wall and you wait for it to stick, and you hear no more than you hear yes, but that's hey, who said it was going to be easy?
That's true.
No one ever said it'd be easy,
right.
But it's possible. Look.
So where are you guys? Where are you located?
I am located at the moment in Provo, Utah, though I'll be heading back up to Alaska next Monday.
Exciting. And you?
I'm an East Coaster. I'm born in New York, bred in New Jersey.
No shit. Well, I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in New York.
All right.
Where did you grow up in New York?
Well, I was actually born in Staten Island. I lived there until I was about 10, and then we just kind of moved a little way across into Jersey.
Right, got it.
That's why I'm the guy, and this is Mr. Utah and Alaska. So he's the unassuming nice one, and I'm like the mutt dog leg breaker.
Cool.
Well, we talked about Star Wars. We talked about a couple of. I'm pretty good at this point. That was pretty awesome. Although I was totally blown away. I'm like, wow, you auditioned for Luke Skywalker? That's
cool. I did.
Oh man.
You know what? Hold on a second. Correction. I auditioned for American Graffiti. Did I go in on the Star Wars? Yeah, I did go in on the Star Wars. I remember because I went in on I did go in on the Star Wars, but the big audition I had with them was for American Graffiti.
Another good movie.
I just remember, going this guy's so hard to get through. He was very, very, he's not a very accessible guy. But listen, hey, American Graffiti was a great movie. I remember seeing it and going again. Oh my God, why am I not in it?
Another one of those kick me in the ass moments.
Oh, I've had so many of them. It's amazing that there's room left to bruise.
There's a small 1-inch square patch on my left ass cheek. That's all that's left.
And that's only because my legs are my muscles are short. I can't reach it.
It's a little tough trying to get around there.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's great.
I was actually just watching American Graffiti the other day.
That's a good movie.
Great film.
Does it hold up?
Oh yeah,
it holds up. It holds up for what it is. It holds up quite well. Especially since it wasn't one of the ones using like the 70s or 80s special effects that.
Well,
you look at now,
it
and
was
like,
made in the 70s.
Yeah, but it was also made on a very low budget without trying to be flashy.
That's right. That's right.
And it's really weird seeing Ron Howard really young.
Yeah.
I remember I was at that point just becoming friends with Dreyfuss, and that was like his breakout picture. And I remember how good I thought he was when I first saw him. I went, wow, this guy's really an interesting actor.
Yeah, me though, I was like, wow, that's a lot of cool cars.
What?
Oh
cool
yeah,
cars, cool music, and that's what was the purpose.
Oh yeah, dude, that 55, man, whoo, that car was beast.
But I don't think I've seen that movie in 30 years. I don't know.
Oh,
It was on TV the other day on Turner.
yes, Turner classic movies.
What a wild career Lucas has had when you think of it. He did THX, right?
Yeah.
He did
that.
Then he did American Graffiti. Then he did Star Wars, and he's never looked back. It's only been Star Wars since then, right? He's never made another film, has he? He's only made Star Wars.
He was involved a lot with Spielberg with Indiana Jones.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then he also did write and produce Willow with Ron Howard.
But has he ever directed, once he got into the Star Wars world, did he ever direct anything outside of Star Wars?
He might have directed some of the episodes for Young Indiana Jones on television.
Oh, right. That'd be interesting to see.
Might have. I know he didn't direct Red Tails, but he wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck, we'll forget that movie exists.
But he did. All he did was make the life miserable for the guy who did direct Howard the Duck, didn't he? He didn't direct that film.
I think everyone involved with that film just don't want to talk about it anymore.
You know something? I watched that movie. It's not entirely bad. It's got some great stuff in it. I didn't think it quite deserved to be dismissed the degree to which it was.
I just think the film is awkward. Like, it's when you hear the idea and you watch it, like, I don't understand why this film was made.
That's probably true. I remember.
Yeah, that was a weird movie.
What's his name? Bob Hoskins, right? Played the detective in it. He was really good in it.
Bob Hoskins is awesome.
He's looking at nothing. He's looking at something that isn't there. And I remember thinking, God, you're making this so. Your relationship with that rabbit or whatever it was, was so alive. A duck. I guess probably is a duck, right? It's called Howard the Duck to Boring.
Yeah.
Was terrific. I think he's a great actor.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Great actor. It's just the movie itself was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
The movie was like, okay, this isn't horrible, but it's weird.
Who was credited for that movie? Somebody big and famous, wasn't it?
Credited for directing it?
Yeah.
I mean, look.
I don't even remember.
Go to your IMDb page.
That's what I just pulled up. Director Willard Hewick.
Oh, don't know who that is.
Let's see. Willard Hewick. He hasn't directed anything since Howard the Duck.
Yeah, that broke him.
Why am I not surprised?
But he did write Radioland Murders for Lucas and American Graffiti and Temple of Doom.
Radioland Murders. Gosh, if I'm correct, that was done like in North Carolina, that movie. And I sort of vaguely remember that movie.
That was another one of the ones that George Lucas wrote.
Right.
Did not direct, though. It was directed by the guy who did Princess Bride.
Rob Reiner.
That guy was
Rob Reiner?
Rob Reiner's cool.
Well, it says Mel Smith, who... What did he do for Princess Bride? Oh, wait. He did something for Princess
Because
Bride.
I remember hearing the word on Radioland Murders that the director was getting bullied by George Lucas.
Yeah, I heard that one. Oh, it looks like Mel Smith was an actor and helped write and produce Princess Bride. So he's the albino in Princess Bride.
Okay.
So, yeah, but I guess remember even like James Cameron, for example, is described as very forceful with his films. So I guess some directors are just more iron-fisted than others.
You can be anything you want. It's when you're not directing the movie, you would think, listen, a friend of mine actually just directed a movie for James Cameron, and actually was treated very well by him. But I mean, when you've done this job and then you hire somebody else to do it, it's a little odd that you're not supportive of it because it's a tough job.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I don't know why you're hiring a director who is not able to effectively do it, that you feel you have to step in. Now, look, you could make a mistake. I know that, Spielberg, made life miserable for a pretty famous director, who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, when he did, the one about... They're living on Indian land. Craig Nelson was the lead, and the ghosts of the Indians are rising up amongst them. Famous movie, early Drew Barrymore movie.
I think I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. Famous movie. Craig Nelson played the father. It's out of my head. I can't remember, but I know that Spielberg just made life miserable for that director, and maybe for good reason. I have no idea. There's a loss of directors.
There's lots of things that go on sets that we just don't know enough about to really comment on, I guess.
That's true. And of course, the nature of the business is that everybody's so paranoid about bad word getting out that you never hear it. It's all kept, under wraps, all the intrigues and shitty things that go on between people.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That is very true.
You have to wait till we get very old and don't care what people think about us, and then we write books where we tell the truth.
Or you write books and make up stuff.
That's true, too.
And it's still true.
I was kidnapped by aliens at age 5. That explains everything.
So, what do you guys do when you're not doing these podcasts?
I'm a college student. Right now it's my summer break. I am studying to be human development.
What does that mean?
Yeah, really.
I go to work in either like family therapy or social work, stuff like that.
I'm just your average blue collar.
Right, you're just drinking beer in New Jersey, right?
Yeah, I'm basically just drinking beer, working, and being me. I'm not that interesting.
Well, it doesn't mean you're not interested. It just means you're self-destructive, that's all.
That's true. I cannot argue this point. I concede, sir.
He has you there.
Damn.
How is it that you two got together? How did you find each other?
Role play. We do role play board.
Uh-huh.
Basically, it's kind of like, see, we have this forum that we role play Star Wars, but it's not really like, we play Luke and Han and all that. We create our own characters. We kind of set them within the Star Wars world.
Wow. And
we just kind of role play and we write, and that's literally what it is. We just write.
So we met there. We actually had so the board's been around for about 12 years now, because it started with Phantom Menace, and then a year ago, exactly a year ago, they was like, we should do a podcast. I'm like, oh, I'm in. And I met James here, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, everybody gets
Have you ever met each other? Have you ever been in the same room?
No.
Nope.
Never.
Have you ever looked at each other in some sort of digital medium?
Yes.
Okay.
Which makes it even weirder if you put us next to each other.
Right.
Because Jared's got his kind of clean cut look going on. I'm like, the big heavy set dude with the long hair, the giant beard.
Let me take you back to what you guys were doing. So this role playing thing. And
yes.
You say that you take sort of the world of Star Wars and then you spin it out into your own stories? Is that what it is with sort of characters that you create?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like take the Star Wars universe,
mm-hmm.
make all the notable main characters simply footnotes.
Got it.
And then take all these other characters that are created by, all these other people from all over the world, because we got people in India that write with us, the UK, Europe, Australia, a lot of Australians.
Wasn't there a movie done? Didn't somebody do a kind of odd film where they took all these Star Wars story kind of offshoot storylines by fans and acolytes and all that sort of stuff, and cobble together this kind of amazing Star Warsian movie. I'm right about that, aren't I?
I've heard about that.
I believe so, yes.
I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
Okay. Well, so let's go back to what you guys do. So essentially, you're writing collectively, right?
Yes.
At like how many people are writing?
It varies. Probably, I'll just get official stats from the board right this second. Like, it's been around for 12 years, so, like, over the years, there's been probably they said there's been almost 10,000 members in 12 years. And so at any one time, there's probably about 100 of us writing at one time.
And when you say you're writing, in other words, help set me up so I understand the context of this. Like, for instance, you'll walk in with a scene that you want to take place in some aspect of the Star Wars universe, and then people start. I mean, how does the scene get written?
It's kind of like playing leapfrog.
Okay, go ahead. Give me an example.
Like one person will come in, they'll have a character, they'll write an introductory post, they'll set a scene, they'll set up where they're at, they'll kind of set a storyline, and then depending on the people talking to each other, doing out of character, so to speak. Talking to each other, oh yeah, I was thinking about doing this, well I want to play this, oh wouldn't this be fun? And people bounce ideas off each other, and then you'll get, like, you can have just two people, you can have one person writing monologues, or you can get something where you've got a story where you've got like 20 different people writing 20 different characters, and everybody just sort of plays leapfrog, like, okay, I do this, I write this part, and this is what my character's doing, and in the vein of like a short story. And then somebody else will come in and they'll start, they'll bring their character into the scene. They might be on another spot. We've had threads that the story almost reads out like it's a movie. Like, you've got all these people here, this is going on. All these other people are over here, this is going on. And then it all somehow converges toward the end.
Sure, but let me ask you this. When you're doing it, it sounds to me like it's essentially like... It's a daisy chain that's always moving forward. Isn't that correct? In other words, you'd come in, let's say, with the idea for a scene and a character and a line of dialogue. Then you'd pick up. You wouldn't go backwards and go, ooh. If you're going to say that, I can improve this back here so that I tabled this for you better, or I set this up better, or I like what you brought into the scene. I want to now support that, and I'm going to change contextually some aspect of the scene. Are you doing that, or are you always moving forward? Just somebody comes in and then you vamp on them, and you vamp, and it keeps moving forward.
Yeah, it's always moving forward, but sometimes somebody will do something, just to clean it up or take out, the certain offending thing or whatever, whatever might have been odd. But normally it's just always moving forward. It's like, say me and Jeremiah are writing a thread together. I'll make a post and then he'll post to that. And then I'll read what he's written and then I'll kind of respond to that. And it'll keep going on, and the characters just kind of take a life of their own.
So let me ask you this. Are you writing in a screenplay format? Is that what you're using? What's the format structure of how you guys write?
I think more of a novel.
Yeah, it's usually third or first person.
Yeah, third or first person, like very much like how you would write a book.
Is there any reason why you guys haven't collectively taken either a portion of it or the whole bloody thing, or whatever, or a section of it, or a sort of completed idea, and said, why don't we why doesn't this become a novel? I mean, in other words, why hasn't it had a life besides the board?
Some of it is because when you write by bouncing off each other, styles don't always mix, and sometimes it seems rather
quirky,
like jumpy as you go, because you keep on switching perspectives every few paragraphs. Mm-hmm. But I personally can relate to some of it. Is like some things have been taken. Like, for example, when I was younger, I used to do writing like this, but on a different board. And my friends and I who wrote there, we took a lot of our experiences and our posts and writings and so on, and we put it into a screenplay, which I've been working on for probably 4 years now. script format, it's almost on this last draft once I figure out some holes. But yeah, so you can take it. It's just you can't take it in the format we write in directly because it's too jumpy in style.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. Like you could sit down and you could read it, but like I don't think that just the content alone, like even the bigger threads, the content alone just isn't enough to like do that.
Because it would be an interesting idea. I mean, I'm just, this is totally, I'm just sort of pre-associated, is for you guys, let's say, to, do a benefit, let's say, for, world hunger or, some, children's cancer or whatever. And get a number of, hold on, I'll tell you, this is a cool idea. And get a number of celebrities, okay, who are maybe even people who somewhere on some divergent way, like myself, are part of this Star Wars franchise, and have a 2-hour reading, like a radio play, like a stage play of one of these things, as a way to raise money for charity or something like that. Because it really does sound sort of interesting. And it seems to me that it's of interest, especially because this is such a phenomenon, this Star Wars stuff, that it could have a life that slightly goes beyond the board. I think it sounds very intriguing. I love the idea of this sort of collective endeavor of people sort of, moving. And I think that you acknowledge that an odd thing happens, which is that there's a sense of completion to whatever the journeys are. That stories, however divergent, start moving themselves towards the center. Because that's just organic to our, this thing in human beings to want to tell stories in a certain way that we all share. I have a feeling there's probably something really interesting there. It may need some editing. I'm not saying that every word is gold prose, but God, what an interesting, weird idea.
It is actually quite odd, but I'm
completely intrigued by it. And what a great workout it must be for those of you guys, I guess to some extent I'm saying Jeremiah, I don't know if this is true of you, James, also, but, who have interest in being creative writers. It's a great way to sort of exercise your creative writing without being stuck all by yourself in front of an empty piece of paper. Because somehow there's somebody who's leading you in and there's somebody who's going to lead you out.
I like this idea.
I'm totally intrigued by it. You should send me, Jeremiah, when you get further on with this thing, send me the screenplay. I'll read it. I'll give you my 10 cents on it.
As in the screenplay I've been working on, or a screenplay for the board?
No. You were telling me that you're working on something.
Yours, bro.
It's going through. If you get it to a point you want somebody to read it, send it over to me.
I'll gladly do that. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no.
That better be awesome.
I think he just got a little too excited.
Maybe it's terrific. It'd be cool. It'd be fun to find some.
You never know. Or he might freak out. Go into HK-47 mode and call you a meatbag. You never know.
You're more than welcome to steal from whoever wrote those lines. I wish I could say I did. I thought it was a very funny idea to be calling human beings meatbags, but.
That was great.
Nothing to do with it.
Oh man, I loved it. Oh, that's like part of the reason why I still play that game.
Yeah, I know. Though you know what, I haven't none of in the recent versions. I never seem to be called upon to say it. Meatbag has somehow disappeared from his vernacular.
No.
Yeah, I'm serious. I don't think I said it at all today.
Oh, calling people a meatbag was awesome, though.
I know. It was very funny. It took me a while to figure it out. When I was reading, I was going, what the fuck am I referring to? Oh, God. I get it now.
Oh, man. That's great.
That is awesome.
No, but the best parts, though, are when he'd start saying one thing and he'd try to stumble over himself, be like, I'm sorry, I mean, almost like he's like, yeah, I'm just going to pretend like I didn't say that.
It's been a fun character to play.
Oh, definitely.
We all quite enjoyed it.
But I think I'm up to. I think today it was HK52. You guys are probably know more. Do you have any sense of this new game that's coming out?
I have none.
I have a sense of it. I've seen it played. I've played some of it. Yeah, I think HK52 sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't have a computer that can even run it, and I'm just so ticked off because I was waiting for it. So I'm like, oh God, I don't even want to see it. It's going to depress me.
It's like, here's an example for how James had to deal with it. It's like waiting for Star Wars, a Star Wars prequel. When Episode 1 comes out, he's in a country where there's no movie theaters.
Oy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like I've been waiting, and now all of a sudden I can't play it. So I rage about that constantly.
Well, what's the platform that this game is played on?
PC.
So it's played on a PC, okay.
Yeah, so if you don't have a computer that can do enough, has enough power, isn't like new enough that'll run it, you can't play it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's like, you old piece of crap. I must upgrade.
Someday, Ken.
I must upgrade.
Someday, James.
Well, your children will one day come to you being able to play the game. You realize that you built a world in which your children are able to play a game that you weren't able to play.
Yes, and then of course when they're not looking, I will steal their computer and play it myself.
Yeah.
Like, I bought the thing.
Yeah, and you're bigger than them, so there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, oh, you want to go? Come on, kid. What? You want to fight me for it? I could see that happening with my youngest one day down the line. It's like, Dad, but I want to play. Well, can you get me out of the chair? No, well, then he can't play.
And guess what, John? This is a life lesson.
This is a life lesson, my young one. Learn well.
Well, terrific. I actually was speaking to the guy who directs me on these shows today. I asked him a little while ago, I said, hey, I hear this character is very popular. I keep thinking I should go to one of these conventions. It'd be sort of good business for me and interesting. I don't know what I would do there, but, somebody must be interested in putting me on some panel. And he said, I'll find out about it for you. He said, it'd probably be great.
Oh, yeah, if you get the chance, go for it.
Well, they should. If you speak to any of these convention, whoever, if you guys are speaking to people who put these things together, they should call me up and ask me to come. Because I'd love to go. I mean, I'd love to go because I feel like I'd learn so much. That's really the truth. I'm out there.
Jared,
I was very happy when you guys contacted me because, quite honestly, if you don't contact me, I have no connection with any of this. I just go in and do my work, and I disappear off the face of the earth after that.
But we do appreciate your work, though.
Well, thank you. That's kind.
The more I look at your resume, the more I realize I have seen you in lots and lots of things, lots of TV shows. You have like 1 or 2 episodes here and more.
Well, good. All right.
Okay, so do you have any more questions for him, or should we let our guest?
I'm cool. I am very thoroughly pleased with this interview. It rocked.
Cool.
Well, we'd like to thank you for being on the show, and if there's anything we can do to help you out, just feel free to contact us, and I'll send you that script when I finish the draft that I'm happy with.
Great. Well, I think that'd be great, and I look forward to reading it. And let me know when this thing's going to be on or where it's going to be, and good luck with it. And thanks, guys. I've enjoyed it.
You're welcome. And I'll send you an email as soon as it's up, and so that you can listen to yourself or share it, whatever you want to do. And we look forward to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, and have a good day, sir.
You too. Bye-bye.